If there's one reason why I really like Jon and Dave Filoni is the fact that they really stay on board with the fans. They keep them posted, they keep them in the loop, they really keep them up to date with their plans for the future of Star Wars and exactly where it's heading, what kind of goals and ambitions they have in mind for this franchise. And I think that's why, fans realize that they are so passionately driven, and they really do care about the fandom at the end of the day, and why they are doing what they are doing with Mando Season 4 and Star Wars Ahsoka. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and let's get right into what's been happening. Now, we know that Jon Favreau has this very big strategy for Star Wars that he's been slowly revealing to the fandom, kind of teasing and hinting things here and there, and how a lot of it is going to heavily feature in the Ahsoka Tano series, for starters, by the way. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that, yes, Kathleen Kennedy had zero involvement in the Ahsoka show, and I think it's one reason why we should all give the Ahsoka series at least a chance after Mando Season 3, because let's not forget she did intervene with Season 3 of Mando. That's a fact. She did meddle with the script, prevented Jon and Dave from doing what they wanted to do, and so that's why I think Ahsoka, given that Filoni had full freedom with the help of Favreau, it's going to be an eye-opener. I really do believe that. So, with that being said, what's interesting about this is that right now both Jon and Dave are beginning to develop many unannounced shows for the audience that will be unveiled by this September. However, in a recent interview that Favreau took part in, he was able to confirm his master plan on saving the Star Wars franchise, essentially. Favreau went on to state the following to the entire community. Well, it's no secret that there remains this fan divide or separation because of the controversy with the sequel films, and myself and Dave are very well aware about that. So we figured we knew going in what the fans wanted. It's all about the stories they grew up with. Our best approach to remedy this fan divide is to create that balance. We know we want to accurately tell the legend stories that we want to, and we knew we had to sacrifice some of the sequel trilogy canon to make that possible. So some canon of those movies will be rearranged, that was just a given, so that we can tell the stories we want to tell, and to introduce the characters from Legends we want to tell as well. This is also giving us the opportunity and more freedom with how we want to tell the rest of Luke's journey, because we have about a 30-year gap between 6 and 7, so we have a ton of material to work with that can change the events of the sequels and how Luke is essentially presented. So, one thing about Favreau here, before I get to the next thing that he talks about, is that he is saying that a lot of sequel canon is going to be rearranged to pave way to accurately, and I say accurately, tell the legend stories that we've all wanted to see for a very long time. Now, as you all know, Dave Filoni is a guy that grew up with Luke Skywalker. He's even made Star Wars references in his movie Swingers. So he's a big fan, even since the 90s at minimum. He knows what he's talking about. He loves the fans. And I don't think that we can just essentially blame Favreau for what happened with Mando Season 3, because yes, he admitted this, that Kathleen Kennedy got involved in the script. Even PEDRO PASCAL admitted to this, and even Kathleen Kennedy herself said that she had a lot of control over that, season. She had a lot to say in what was going to happen and what was not going to happen, in comparison to Season 2, which was more open to Jon and Dave, because they intentionally gave them a chance to do something amazing. Now, the thing about this, too, that I think a lot of fans need to really realize is that there's some sequel trilogy fans out there, and I think what Jon Favreau is talking about when it comes to the balance is that they don't want to mess things too much up with the sequels, to a drastic degree, where it's going to really drive those fans away. Now look, we're not quite sure how many die-hard fans there are out there about the sequel trilogy movies. There is a core fan base for the sequels. And I've said this several times. When I look at the sequels, what I like about them are specific scenes, moments, if you will, not the entirety of the trilogy. That's not attractive to me in the slightest. What does attract me about the sequel movies are a batch of sequences. For example, Kylo Ren killing off Han Solo, that was a very emotional moment, well created, well filmed in my opinion. Maybe not well executed. They should have had Luke there witnessing the event. But regardless, there's scenes like that in the sequels that capture me. So overall, moving on to the next thing, he goes on to elaborate. We didn't want to go too extreme this way, so we want to slowly build up the Legends lore and how it's going to rearrange the sequels, all beginning with Filoni's Ahsoka show, and I think fans are going to be blown away. Especially with what we have planned for Season 2 of Ahsoka, that is going to serve as a tool to rearrange some of the sequel canon material drastically. But I want to be direct with fans, we aren't done with Luke just yet, not in the slightest, and that's something that we truly want to take advantage of, since he's my favorite character in this brand. I just love his arc to becoming a Jedi Master, it's brilliant and we are doing amazing things. Again, Favreau is pointing it out here and confirming that Luke's story is not done, alright? They're not going to end it there. And it makes sense, you know, because it was teased at the end of the Book of Boba Fett. Luke saying, you know, will I ever see you again? And Ahsoka says, perhaps, you know, may the Force be with you. And so, there's a lot of fan questions out there. How did Luke meet Ahsoka? Alright? Where did Luke meet Ahsoka? Or vice versa? How did that really happen? Well, we know that Mark Hamill signed his signature on the set of Ahsoka Season 1. That's the only clue so far about Luke coming into the Ahsoka Tano series. Alright? Besides that, there's been only one storyboard illustration of Luke and Ahsoka, and that's it. However, he is planned to have a very big presence in Mando Season 4 and Ahsoka Season 2. Alright? So that's one thing to be aware of as well. So, I think that Favreau is at least on his A game of being very much direct with the fans, being very, much well at communicating with the fan base, you know, making them know that there is a fan divide. It kind of just makes you feel more relatable to them, and why Favreau is in this with the fans. You know, we all know that the reason why he came in the first place was he was not happy with how Luke was treated in The Last Jedi. He himself even said this before in the past. And that's why he did with what he did with Luke in Mando Season 2, to really give fans that fun, entertaining moment that we all deserved. Just a little shred of fun, right? That's all we needed was, what was it, like 3-4 minutes tops of Luke footage in there? It was amazing, and that's what we needed. So overall, it's interesting that this is their plan. Now we know that they're going to be using the World Between Worlds in Season 1 and 2 of Ahsoka, mainly in Season 2 though, not so much in Season 1. That's really going to play itself into really resetting a lot of sequel trilogy canon material. And that's what John is alluding to here without actually saying it. So overall, guys, I would love to hear what you all have to say about this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.